All right, welcome gang to another Influencer Jam session, or Jam Sesh as we've come to know them. Today, I'm lucky enough to have Quentin on the call. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Max. I've been in the culture and leadership game since 1989. So when I share that with clients, they go, wasn't even born back then. So yeah, been in this game for a long time, see a lot of change. Love the idea that we can influence people, leaders, organizations to be healthier places to work and places where it actually makes a difference in the world. So that's kind of some of my core values about, my real joy is when people get some feedback and get a sense of themselves and go, I know how to do stuff differently now.
Yeah, cool. It's a pretty awesome thing to be able to find the thing that you love to do and help other people along the way. So tell me, why did you start with the Influencer Project? Why start with us? What was that all about?
Keeping the business afloat and keeping food on the table, mate. It's pretty basic stuff. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is that we love the development part of our business. So we've developed some brilliant diagnostic systems. We've developed some brilliant workshop processes. And one of our mentors said, for every $1 you spend on development, you have to spend $1 on marketing and sales.
Wow, that's a piece of advice, isn't it?
Yeah, guess what we did? We spent a whole heap of money on development and we didn't spend the same amount on sales and marketing. And we tried various things, PR strategy, some other strategies, and we were kind of a bit desperate. So Marg found you guys that's kind of where we started the relationship. I think it's a bit over 12 months now, Max.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too far off that for sure. And back then when you first started, what was the goal? That obviously you had to spend the dollar to match the dollar that you'd been spending on development.
Yeah.
But now that you were you'd bought in to spend your dollar on marketing now, what was the goal for the business?
Well, the goal for the business has been to make it profitable. We've invested a lot of money in the development work, as I said, and we haven't developed a good sales and marketing strategy. So we wanted to be profitable. The longer term vision is around this being a leverage business, so we could grow out our consulting base both here and globally, so that we basically provided diagnostics to consultants who used it in their practice. That was the plan. And in the broader sense, on our vision board, we had offices in London and New York. We're a little bit behind on that, but
not quite there yet. Okay, so what you started with this, then what happened? What was the journey like for the first sort of 6 months or so?
The first 6 months, we were really slow learners, seriously. And I think that's the hardest lesson of all, is just to trust that you guys know what you're doing and you need to do the work. I remember ringing Andrew and going, we can't afford this. And Andrew pushed back. He said, no, you're not leaving. Because I literally asked him to get out of the contract. And he went, no. And we just sat back and went, actually, we're in such a tight spot that we have to do something different. And I guess it's like so much in life. It's not until you get to back right into a corner that you go, yep, behave differently. And this was it. So from then on, it was a case of learning a new process, shifting mindsets, and doing stuff differently. Max, it was not easy, I can tell you.
Yeah, there was a few prickly conversations, if I remember correctly, where you kind of had to go, all right, this is outside my comfort zone, right?
Totally. And the irony, of course, is that we do that all the time with our clients when we coach them. So you're right. Not only learning, but unlearning some old habits and unlearning a whole bunch of old assumptions and mindsets. Like, I was blessed with a business where clients would come to us. We were on the kind of the ground floor. We had a brilliant product, and at the time, and people would come to us. All of a sudden, the world is a different place. A lot more competition, and we had to work hard at bringing people to us and differentiating ourselves in the marketplace. And you guys, put that challenge to us. We still had to do the work in terms of differentiating ourselves, but you guys were really useful in going, well, once we've done that, how do we now take that to market and pull the market to us?
And what happened? Like, what were the results that came from that? Because you guys stuck it out. You got to that point of like your absolute breaking point, had the conversation with Andrew. I think Rana might have even been involved in one of the events, but then something changed.
Yeah, so we did what you told us to do, which is to put out 50 connection requests, or even go, in my case, I had already a pretty big data set already on LinkedIn, but I, following your counsel, narrowed it down to, in our human resource directors and senior leaders with culture. And I think the thing that really, the one event about 3 or 4 months ago that really nailed it for me was I connected with a general manager HR, and he basically said, I've got a RFP, a request for proposal, that I'm putting out. Would you like to respond? I said, to right. So that was the Thursday. He left his mobile number. On Monday, I had the RFP. Now we had to win it. We were up against five other consulting firms, and that's where you guys were terrific in terms of Andrew. Generally, we would do a pitch to a client with we had an hour and a half to the leadership team, and we would normally roll out a massive PowerPoint deck. And Andrew said, no, don't do that. Keep clients in their pain, which is the format of the brainstorm. And so we used a technique that we use in our workshops, which is around pulling out about 100 black and white photos and getting them. And this was like minutes within the kickoff of the presentation. We had them up on their feet, choosing a black and white photo, one to depict what the current culture is, one to depict the future. And then it got them to debrief it. And it was max 60 minutes out of our 90 minutes before we actually got to our deck, the PowerPoint. The rich conversations, everything was just too good to be true.
Then what happened? You were one of 6.
Yeah, we were one of 6, and we went, I had to kind of keep myself relaxed about this because it was it's a pretty good piece of work. And then they wanted us to present in front of the unions and a group of staff. So from 6, we went down to one of 3, and we won it. And we had to negotiate the price, and we had to get referees checked. I'm going, wow, this is far more rigorous than any public service arrangement I've ever been through. But nevertheless, we've got it. We've started the work. You still got to do the work, but I think huge lessons in terms of not only the process of snagging that connection, which was one of 50, 100, whatever, but secondly, doing something different.
Yeah, big time. And if you don't mind me asking, for those players at home, what was the job worth?
Well, it was over 100K. So
yeah.
I think the big lesson for me, Max, is, and this came out of the last SSI, the idea for, particularly in my business, you meet a client and they go, we need to do some leadership work. We need to work on our culture. And you just go, now or later. And they go, we're going to get through the budget cycle. And, it can take 12, 18 months. The thing that, and it can be years, but the thing that I've learned with your process is I don't think you can actually shorten that up at all. What you can do is be out there in front of hundreds more people that have actually gone down the track and are in the market buying. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You slowly start to filter out of all those people you're having conversation with, the ones that are almost ready there. They just need that little prompt again. A little, hey, how you doing? Is there something I can help with?
Well, yeah, or they'll say, no, I'm actually got an RFP out now.
Yeah.
The recent little win, I'm 99% confident we'll win it. But one of the things that we've put a lot of time and effort into is our models, and you guys have been, exemplary in terms of, you've got great models, you've got frameworks, and we kind of borrowed a bit of that. And we're finding that even when you start with a conversation, like in the brainstorm around, well, I've got 5 to 10 leaders that need to go 360s. Okay, so what is that in? So you go into the pain piece. So what's that in service of? Well, you got some behavioural problems, some culture problems. Can I send you this framework and we can have a conversation after that? And they go, right. It's not just 5 or 10 leaders, but I'm going to put some budget in for next year. We'll do the 5 or 10. I'm going to put some money in the budget for next year so we can do a bigger culture project, because you've got a framework that speaks to the broader issues.
Unreal. That's really cool, right?
Yeah.
It's that simple thing. And every time I've heard that story once or twice now, and I still get goosebumps with that whole black and white image thing and how you reframe that brainstorm and just approach these guys, because they unpack their own problem and in essence got all the way through to the point where it's like, how can you help me get out of that pain?
And it was anxiety provoking from our point of view, because comfort zone is, well, let's just work you through our PowerPoints and tell you what the solution is. And you guys have been brilliant in kind of just changing that framework. And I kind of knew that at some level. Basic consulting is you listen to the client, but when you're given an hour and an opportunity to do a PowerPoint deck, you kind of fall into the trap. And so that was huge. So we've got a presentation coming up. We've got another RFQ, or request for quote.
Yep.
And we're going to use the same sort of format, even though it's more a team development, team culture session.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to someone watching this who's either just starting or thinking about getting going?
Yeah, you just get over yourself. Do what these guys tell you to do. And and once you have a couple of little wins, it actually becomes actually quite enjoyable. That'd be the simplest formula, mate. Get over yourself from the point of view your mindset's that holding you back, and just push into your discomfort and find another comfort zone.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's time to break through that one, right?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Just let me just wallow in this one for a second.
Yeah, just give me a little while, okay?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so just before we finish up, Quentin, if you were going to put one word on the Influencer Project, the process you've been through, how would you describe it?
In one word, it's a bit of a challenge, but certainly it gave us hope. Hope in being able to do things differently, hope in getting a different result, and hope that we could create something that we really want to create together.
Yeah, and you've definitely done that, because the person that you guys, or the people you were when you first started versus the shift in what we've seen is just fantastic to see. Puts a smile on our face every time.
Well, that's lovely to hear, mate. It hasn't been easy, and we've got a bit to go, but we feel like we've hit bottom and we're trending up. Yeah,
definitely. Any last words before we get out of here?
No, mate. Just a big thank you to you and all the team there, mate. You're doing extraordinary work. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, buddy, and I appreciate your time, and Marg's as well. All our love to her.
Yep.
But, thank you very much. We're going to see you. We'll see you in the private Facebook group, but we'll catch you later. Thanks everyone for checking this out.
Very welcome. Bye-bye.